Sheriff Todd Baxter, employees of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, District Attorney Sandra, Doorley, employees of the Monroe County District Attorney's Office, Judge Alex Renzi in New York State Supreme Court, Paul C. Metzler and James Milley Jr. in Penfield Court. My name is Chris Chichester. I live in Rochester, New York. I have been in jail 6 times, and 6 times the prosecutors not talked to court. What are the names of my prosecutors? District Attorney Doorley. In 48 hours on Monday, this document will arrive in your offices via Federal Express. This is from Friday, April 7th, yesterday, when I was on here. Language requires precision. It's called refusal because you're going to refuse to disclose the names of my prosecutors of silence. I believe the employees of the United States Department of Justice told you, Sandra Doorley, and you, Perry Duckles, Deputy District Attorney, disclose these names to me, you would refuse. That's insane. I use that word frequently on here. It is insane for you to refuse to disclose the names of prosecutors assigned to my court appearances for my concocted charges, fiction, and lies. You are a joke at that sheriff's office. Your employees do not understand what constitutes criminal behavior. Andrew Reale, Shannon Meyer, Michael Houlihan, Don Benedetto, Richard J. Seaman, violently tagged at the Penfield Public Library. An absolute sickening, disgusting disgrace that your employees at the sheriff's office do not understand how to identify a criminal act. So that's why the prosecutor talked to court. This is what's coming. Friday, April 7th, I was on here. It arrived in your office. Here's all your emails here. I use a Gmail account this time because I use the phone to create this. Some little recipients with Gmail and Proton Mail. April 7th. Mail the names of my prosecutors assigned to the address below in Rochester, New York. Read these 6 attached PDF documentation. Resign. I'm going to hold up that PDF documentation. These links here are called refusal, corruption, fanaticism, and ludicrous abuse of power. Corruption and fanaticism on Penfield Court Judge Paul C. Metzler. How you possibly allow this disgusting, sickening freak, Paul C. Metzler, to decide innocence and guilt is an outrage. She has no idea what's going on. This bald-headed, wig-wearing widow at all about any defendant. She's there to declare guilt, and I have not read yet, you bald-headed, wig-wearing psychopath, Paul C. Metzler, the list of defendants that you sent me in Penfield Court. So, that's on April 7th. It's called refusal. You're going to refuse to tell me the names of my prosecutor's sons. How is any citizen in jail anywhere in the state of New York, from Montauk Point up to Plattsburgh, across the state of New York to Buffalo, in jail when a prosecutor talk court? How's that happen once to any citizen? And that's happened to me 6 times. I don't know what your answer is. The district attorney's office, sheriff's office. Oh, that happens all the time. All the time is insane. So, corruption and fanaticism. This bald-headed widow here, $28,000 she's paid. Where she's in there where there is no jury of 12. There's no witness box for testimony. Perry Duckles, have you been in there? Because I believe you were once the chief or the deputy chief of the local courts. I could be incorrect. I'm trying to remember now your biography because I've read it a number of times. But I'll guess that you have been in Penfield Court. And I'm not trying to be facetious when I say this. How does this nauseating little room meet the definition of a courtroom? Without a table for a defense attorney and without a table for a prosecutor. You can't even sit down in there. You stand up when you go in there. The defendant's scale stands up in there. There's no witness box. There's no 12 seats for a jury. If somebody would ask me in elementary school, when I was 10 years old at Wayne Street Elementary School in Suffolk County, Long Island, Chris, what's a courtroom? I would have said it's with a jury. Because elementary school students know a jury's in a quorum. All it is her and James Milley Jr. and John P. Lenz Jr. have said this repeatedly. Redirect defendants away from this vile little room if you care about justice. But you know, you're indifferent to justice. The district attorney's office, the sheriff's office, corruption, fantasy. $28,000 Paul C. Metzler, Penfield Court. You, Todd Baxter, gave this sickening freak my health care records in violation of the 1996 federal law passed by my former employers, the United States Senate, United States House of Representatives, Health Insurance Privacy Protection Act. Paul C. Metzler knows what I only told my mother and father because you told Paul C. Metzler. Think about the best possible lie. You mean Mussolini skinhead. So, ludicrous abuse of power. It's ludicrous that you're refusing to tell me the name of my process. That's why it's called ludicrous. And here it is right here, ludicrous. It's ludicrous for you to refuse to disclose the names of my prosecutors of silence. It's ludicrous for you, public defender Julie Sianka, to refuse to disclose the names of my prosecutor's sons. It's ludicrous for you, Assistant Public Defender Mark Phillips, to refuse to disclose the names of my prosecutor's sons. It's ludicrous for you, Assistant Public Defender Regina Harper, to refuse to disclose the names of my prosecutor's sons. April 5th, Todd Baxter, Sandra, Doorley, with your copy, Julie Sianka, Regina Harper, Mark Phillips on here. Mail the names of my prosecutor's sons, the address, Blah, Rochester, New York, read the 6 attached PDF documents. Rely on ludicrous abuse of power. Abuse of power, you're forcing me into these corrupt judges just to declare me guilty. When you don't know, you don't have to talk in the attorney's office. That's insane. To be delivered to jail and prosecutor to talk court. The reason why the prosecutor doesn't talk in court, prosecutors cannot stand in court and make an argument that I have committed a crime, and the prosecutor and these insane judges are relying on the fiction and the lie of a piece of paper. Silence of Mahone County Public Defender Julie Sianka. Do you know why silence, Julie Sianka? Language requires precision. When you use language, you should understand the definition of the language or the word. It's silence because I'm telling you to disclose the names of my prosecutors. This is not information you don't have and can't locate. You legitimately say, I don't know what you're talking about, Julie Sianka. You know these names. Regina Harper said to me at one point that this insane leveling of my life, quote, the prosecutor's not backing down. That's the 5'2", 3-piece suit boy before Paul C. Metzler. I walked up to him in Penfield Town Court, seeing him stand there in total silence. You know his name, Perry Douglas. I saw a picture of him online. I know what he looks like. I know what they all look like. It's Julie Hahn, my prosecutor, in front of John P. Menzo Jr. This is silence of Monroe County Public Defender Julie Sianka. This is all going to go to the Department of Justice. Abuse of power, identification, insane, $113,918 first assistant Perry Douglas. I asked you, demanding from you on January 1 of this year to disclose the names of my prosecutors. 3 months later, I still don't know. 18 months later, I still don't know. So, this is abuse of power. Sheriff Todd Baxter, District Sandra, is abuse of power for any citizen in the state. You don't have to go to jail and a prosecutor to talk court. And then refuse to disclose the name of the prosecutor signed to that court appearance that allows it to happen. So, this is identification. This is March 30th. Identification. Language requires precision again. Identify my prosecutor's assigned to every single court appearance. And I have here, same links here. Identification, that's March 30th. Okay, this here. This document here that I'm holding in my hand. Open your mail. And I believe that the envelopes will come back to me. This is who it's going to arrive for. This is a federal X receipt. This is the tracking. What I just showed you there in my hand with those links on YouTube, I'm talking directly to you and telling you to disclose information to me because your entire nauseating, repulsive, sickening existence is tax dollars. This is what's going to. FedEx. Scheduled delivery date, April 11th. So it is now April 8th at 7:04 p.m. So I thought it was going to come in 48 hours, but it's not. Perhaps I'll get there earlier. Sandra Doorley, District Attorney, Todd Baxter, Sheriff, the first two. Perry Douglas, Monroe County District Attorney's Office, who I believe is the de facto District Attorney who nobody elected, paid $113,000 because it arrived at the client of help of Sandra Doorley. Is your boss, Perry Douglas, Sandra Doorley, go into the office at 47 South Fitzhugh and walk stand a 40-hour work week? I said that repeatedly on YouTube. Because I believe the answer is no. I'm going to write her directly and ask her. And we're all copying the United States Attorney, employees of the Department of Justice, Governor Kathy Hochul. Does she work to stand a 40-hour work week? And tell her to shut the hell up about her health. She's a Machiavellian calculator talking about her health. She's trying to generate sympathy and political points. Her health is totally disconnected from doing the job of district attorney. I say it's totally connected because it's nobody's business what her health is. That's why. However, when I say it's totally disconnected from her job as district attorney, her talking about her health should be totally disconnected from her job as district attorney. She uses her health for political reasons. And people like me, and I'm sure there are others like this, think, why is she talking about her health, and does her health compromise her ability to fulfill the oath of office? And the answer is yes. So, this is Miss Ross here, 138 Delaware Avenue in Buffalo, New York, a distinguished American citizen. If you read her biography, I'll guess that you have. You know who she is. I'm also going to copy, in the future, Kristen Smith, who is the Deputy Attorney General for Civil Rights Department of Justice, Ms. Ross's colleague. Who forced me into House Renzi? And he's not just any hack over there at the Hackocracy 99 Exchange. He's the hack. I'm at my temporary residence at 70 Liberty Pole Way. I'm grateful I was there. Hearts of gold there. I had to do everything possible to be free. I was helped by Robert Valenti, United States Department of Veterans Affairs. I live on Park Avenue now. And I'm going to move back to Albany soon. I have to move. Because you'll just show up and arrest me again. I'll be in jail again. That's why I'm moving. I have to move. And I believe I have no obligations whatsoever from you, Jamie Belliard, Pretrial Services Corporation. Jamie Belliard, why do I have to call you a Pretrial Services Corporation under the threat of being returned to jail when I don't have a trial? The 1984 of what's supposed to be justice in Monroe County, Pretrial Services Corporation. There's no trial for me scheduled, yet I'm calling Pretrial Services Corporation. If I don't make a phone call, if I didn't go down there and see Jamie Belliard, who treated me with respect and decency, he's a total professional, I would still be returned to jail. That's ridiculous. So Alex Renzi, who decided I was going to be in Alex Renzi courtroom? Alex Renzi's courtroom. Who decided it? It's the prosecutor assigned to that. I'm at my temporary residence. There's the documentation. They forced me in there, and there I am in Monroe County Jail. It's that frightening and simple to be in jail, and this psychopath wants to examine my head, and that's why he's a psychopath. Julie Sianka, public defender. Julie Sianka, how many times do I have to say this to you? What are the names of my prosecutors? 620 Park Avenue, PNB, Rochester, New York, 14604. Tell me their names. And open your mail. This is going to come to you. I will print this out here. What's called Degenerates. And I'm going to send this to you. Julie Sianka, Mark Phillips, Christina Harper. Open this FedEx or UPS or registered mail return receipt. If I go back to FedEx, it'll be just like this here. The same envelope. This here I'm going to track it. Paul C. Metzer, how did you get my healthcare records? How is this explained? There's an Office of Court Administration in Albany. I have not yet made a decision about who exactly has appellate jurisdiction over you, but you know this at the district attorney's office. If Paul C. Metzer makes a decision, every decision from her is an abomination. How do you appeal the decision? Because there is an appellate process in the state of New York, with the Court of Appeals, the highest court in the state of New York. There's no appellate process for Paul C. Metzer. Her decision is just like these other two hacks, John P. Metzer Jr. and James Miller Jr. filing, that's it. You can't appeal anything. With her smashing civil and constitutional rights into a million little pieces with the other hack, James Miller Jr. Think about Jermaine Bam and Jessica Wagner, District Attorney's Office, James Miller Jr., so I'm back in soon about that. Gina Harper, I'm sure you know I once had respect for you. It's just evaporated and vanished. Because this is why. Gina, what are the names of our prosecutors? Mark Phillips, Republic Defender's Office. I'm sure you know that I once had respect for you, which has evaporated and vanished because of this reason. What are the names of our prosecutors, Mark Phillips? So that's it. Let's come to FedEx. Open up your FedEx and tell me the names of our prosecutors. Christopher.chichester@mail.com. Christopher.chichester@mail.com. 620 Park Avenue, PNB number 361, Rochester, New York, 14604. This is what's coming here, right here. I'm going to show you again. Corruption, which is all of you, requires repetition, refusal. It's called refusal. She'll refuse to tell me as I prosecute silence. Corruption and fanaticism. She is vile and sick. This Paula C. Metzer, acquiring my healthcare records. I was violently attacked by Richard J. Seaman at the Penfield Public Library because this one vile hack wants to send me to jail. It's not going to be Monroe County Jail. Why am I in Livingston County Jail? One person decided I'm going to be in jail. The state legislature needs to reform this monstrosity. It's called a bench trial, which is not a trial, to prevent these psychopaths like Paul C. Metzer from destroying a life and obliterating civil and constitutional rights. So, ludicrous, Sheriff Todd Baxter, District Attorney Sandra, Doorley, Alex Renzi. It's called ludicrous because it is ludicrous, one, to be in jail when a prosecutor and talk in court, two, to refuse to disclose the names of the prosecutors that are doing this to me. Silence of Monroe County Public Defender Julie Sianka. You, Julie Sianka, are silent, refusing to tell me the names of my prosecutors, and the prosecutors, when I appear in court, are silent because they can't make an argument that I've committed a crime. I don't know anything about you, Julie Sianka. That's not my business. But your friends and family members, which you have friends and family members. If you had friends and family members that came to you and said, I'm in jail without a prosecutor talking court, I believe that you easily conclude that's corruption. If you had a friend or family member, public defender Julie Sianka, that came to you and said, I have been in jail 6 times, and 6 times the prosecutor didn't talk to court. You can prove that's corruption. Use of power, again. Your abuse of power at the Sheriff's Office, District Attorney's Office, Penfield Town Court, and New York State Supreme Court, Alex Renzi, is a Richard Nixon level. That's how I think about you. So, identification, the most basic word. What are the names of my prosecutors? Of silence. Tell me. So, you notice this shirt that I'm wearing here with this tag? I'm aware the tag's on there. It's now 15 minutes. I wore it for a reason. The reason why I wore this shirt that I bought at Goodwill, Sheriff Todd Baxter, District Attorney Doorley, Judge Renzi, Policy Master James Money Jr., Penfield Town Court, Public Defenders Julie Sianka, Mark Phillips, and Regina Harper, is I don't have any clothes. Because when I was locked out of my residence by Giuseppe Spano and Antonino Spano, the father's residence by my ex-girlfriend Laura Riley of Webster, New York, taken to a storage locker, and the storage locker was cleaned out. When I was in jail and other places, I couldn't pay for it. My sister was paying for it. She decided not to pay for it, and everything is gone. My dress greens from 17 Cavalry, 101st Airborne Division are gone. My 1,000+ books are gone. My television's gone. My bed's gone. My running shoes are gone. My racing jerseys are gone. Every single thing I own is gone. I don't have any clothes because of you, Sheriff Todd Baxter and District Attorney Sandra Doorley. I don't have any clothes because of you, Sheriff Todd Baxter and District Attorney Sandra Doorley. Corruption requires repetition. So, this is documentation I'm going to show you. You see this? So here is the certified mail return receipt. This is April 6th, so you got this. This should come back to me with the green card that shows that you received it. Todd Baxter, Todd Thurston. It's a 955 Panorama Trail. District Attorney Sandra Doorley, Lisa Grady, Counsel. Perry Duckles, United States Attorney Trini Ross. Alex Renzi, New York State Supreme Court. Julie Sianka, Mark Phillips, Regina Harper, Paul Metzler, James Money Jr. Back to Todd Baxter. So these here, this was sent April 6th, 2023. So I just updated this. What you received on April 6th, 2023 was this being right here. This is going to be the first page of that. Corruption and fanaticism, Policy Metzler. Redirect the fence away from this nauseating, sickening, vile room. Penfield Town Court, Perry Duckles, so you don't have instances in jail. It's in your interest to do this. But I believe you're totally indifferent to the fact that instances in jail. Conviction Integrity Unit. Why do you have to have a conviction integrity unit? It's because innocent citizens in jail and prosecutors don't talk to court. So this is going to be what's going to come to you. Should have arrived yesterday, I should say. This arrived right here. This arrived. This is stamped April 6th. So this is April 6th right here. I printed it out at 12:42 p.m. This arrived. This will be the first document right here. See this where it says corruption, fanaticism? What I'm saying, mail the names of my prosecutors, social address listed below in Rochester, New York. Read detached PDF documentation. What I just showed you there, you got that. This is corruption. I cannot find out the names of these psychopaths that are putting the screws to me and violated my civil and constitutional rights. I'll be back here. I'm going to talk about Miranda versus Arizona. Are you familiar with the 1966 Supreme Court decision about how the cops obliterated Ernesto Miranda? How come I've never heard Miranda? So, I'm going to hold up some information, which is documentation I sent to you, and the one that interests you the most, I'm going to get to this one. This is the freak that delivers me to a level of anger I never thought that I would have in my life. This is Shannon Meyer. A warrant for my arrest for a parking lot I have walked through 4,000 times. A piece of paper leads to me being in Monroe County Jail. A man named Neeraj Shah, Len Kumar Shah. It's his 7-year-old mother, Len Kumar Shah. There's a little blurry here. This is the accusatory instrument that leads. This piece of paper has me in Monroe County Jail, where a prosecutor talked to court, the prosecutor never talked to court. Shannon Meyer. I go to the parking lot for the 4,000th time. I'm walking back from Gold's Gym. This Neeraj Shah lives with his mother, starts to scream. We have this confrontation. Meyer calls me. This is how Meyer sets me up. I speak to this freak on the phone for an hour. I'm saying to her over and over, I had to take the phone away from my ear and look at it a few times. Why are you calling me? People walk through this parking lot every day. Pembroke High School students walk through this parking lot. The elderly woman across the street next to me walks through this parking lot. My house in front of Adam walks through this parking lot. Where's my 14th Amendment right to equal protection as well? And I said this to this freak Shannon Meyer, who you give a $16,000 raise to. So this leads to me being in Monroe County Jail. How do you not immediately fire this freak, Todd Baxter, one, and then two, give her a $16,000 raise? The answer is you're corrupt. That's why. So it's Shannon Meyer. $16,000 pay raise freak. This is February 16th. She should be fired immediately. You have multiple employees at the sheriff's office. I'm going to hold up that documentation. This is going to be included. I'm going to talk about her momentarily again. This is the nightmare cop for every citizen in Monroe County. This freak Shannon Meyer. So this is what you received in your office. I'm going to make copies of this. I'm getting copies done now. It's going to cost me about $400 or $500 to get all these copies to whom I'm going to send it to. See here? You've received this via email. You've also received this registered mail return receipt, UPS, and FedEx. Every single thing I have here. I'm going to show this to you. This is beginning November 28th. Every email on here is different. I use it once. I discard it, so you can't block me. I never return to the same email. I'm going to send this to you, and you'll be able to see the emails are different. I didn't begin to say on November 28, 2022 to identify my prosecutor's silence, but you'll see that I'm starting to say it to you over and over and over and over and over and over. You refused. So this is November 28th. Comply with attached PDF for the information law document dated November 28, 2022, and mail the information demand to the addresses below the United States Postal Service. There's 3 links here. Corruptible, delusion, and dial 0. It's called 0 because I knew you were going to apply with 0. Is this sexual harassment at the district attorney's office or sheriff's office? You refused to tell me. So this is December 22nd. Comply with the attached PDF dated December 22nd, 2022. That is 67 Freedom of Information laws. Documents you assigned this documentation was dated December 24, 2022, and December 26, 2022. I didn't hear anything. What's Ryan Fisher doing in Atlanta, Georgia? What are you doing taking pictures of your employees underwater in a pool pot, Baxter? What are Corey Brown and Michael Fowler doing in Saratoga? Corey Brown and Michael Fowler make more money than you. Michael Fowler's paid $163,000. Corey Brown's paid $155,000. What are they doing out of Monroe County in Saratoga, Todd Baxter? December 26th, you received 24 to 48 hours of the United Postal Service 67 Freedom of Information law documents dated December 26th. This documentation was also mailed to your office on December 22nd. This file is attached to PDFs called Lawless. Mail the information I demand to UPS address below to include identification of my prosecutor's silence. Terry Duckles on January 1. I wrote to you on January 1. This is limited email from my mail.com account that I created. This is called Christopher Chichester 1 at USA.com. It has limited recipients on my Proton Mail and Gmail. It's unlimited. And I copied P. Metzler at Penfield.org. That's this revolting hacks email in Penfield Court. Metzler.penfield at Gmail. I believe that's your private email. That could be incorrect. P. Douglas at MonroeCounty.gov. Todd T. Thurston at MonroeCounty.gov. And Mark Phillips. Mark, did you blow this off? I will never know. But it says up here, read Perry Douglas at Monroe County District Attorney's Office. And I'm going to read this. Perry Douglas District Attorney, 47 South Fitzhugh Street, Rochester, New York. Attached PDF is 61-page freedom of information document dated December 20, 2022 that arrived in your office via UPS. This documentation also arrived December 22 and December 26, 2022 via UPS. It was tracked. You have it. Print each. Bring it to your corrupt boss, Sandra. Doorley tells pet accumulation of health afflictions. Send the information on UPS address listed below. It includes the names of our prosecutor's silence. What's not to understand? I've demanded names of our prosecutor's silence for 18 plus months. I'll be in court again because you're false psychopaths. No, it takes only one corrupt judge, just Renzi, New York State Supreme Court, or Paul C. Metzler from Little Penfield Town to declare me guilty of criminal charges you concoct. A prosecutor has never talked in court for me. Yet I've been in jail 6 times. This fanaticism and hatred at your office that deserves the attention of the United States Department of Justice. You received the same full documentation dated January 2nd, 2023 and January 3rd, 2023 that compels you to disclose the names of my prosecutor's silence. You will continue to refuse and crave in silence. You will continue to refuse and crave in silence. And that's exactly right. Corruption is predictable. So it's YouTube 61 because there's 61 Freedom of Information law documents. I have YouTube for Laura Riley, my ex-girlfriend, taking all my things from stores locked without telling me. So this is January 3rd. What do you think I'm demanding on January 3rd in 1984 that you existed? Apply to attached PDF dated January 3rd. That is 66 Freedom of Information Law documents. This is attached PDF for robbing officer of the United States Postal Service called Amoral. Over and over throughout that YouTube, I'm telling you to disclose names like prosecutors. January 5th here. Apply with attached PDF dated January 5th, 2023 to 66 Freedom of Information Law documents. This is attached PDF for robbing officer of UPS tomorrow. Mailing information on demand the address below. This includes the names like prosecutors. It's called accountability. There's no accountability for you that this returns off the sheriff's office. Do whatever you want. January 10th. Should be thinking, as you see me read these and tell you what I'm damn at, it's corruption. You will never know you're corrupted at this attorney's office shack. You will never know you're corrupted at revolting Monroe County Sheriff's Office. That's just like the mafia was in New York City in the 1970s and 80s. You'll never know it. To this day, Elliot Spitzer doesn't know he's corrupt, just like you'll never know. Attached PDF dated January 10, 2023 to 70 Freedom of Information Law documents. Attached PDF for robbery officer of the United States Postal Service. Mailing information demand to the address below Rochester. This includes the names of my prosecutor's silence. Rejection. It's called rejection because I knew you were going to reject it, and you did. Now I'll take that because I'll send an email to you, and now the next day I'll print out a cover letter, and I'll take that link from YouTube, and I'll print it out. Apply with the attached PDF dated January 10, 2023. Because I don't have Todd Baxter or Sandra Doorley's email addresses. All I have is the addresses of the employees. So I send it to you via email, and I print out the cover letter, and then when I mail it UPS or FedEx or USPS, then I put the cover letter on, and then I guarantee Todd Baxter or Sandra Doorley have it. That's why their names are here with this link. This accountability was just the emails, and this is the cover letter that robbed me in the office. Same thing with here, January 11th. Everything I'm holding in my hand, I'm going to make copies of this. I'm going to send this to you this week. Comply with the attached PDF dated January 10th to the 72 Freedom of Information Law documents. This includes identification on prosecutor's silence, mailing information I demand and rejected it. So, this is corrupt, and this is January 12th. This is all your emails right here. This is an email I only used once. It was called Chichester Christopher 159 at proton.me. And on it, I'm telling you here, with this language, what do you think I'm demanding? What do you think I'm telling you to disclose to me? Apply with the attached PDF dated January 12, 2023 to 70 Freedom of Information Law documents. This is attached PDF for robbing officer of the registered mail return receipt for the United States Postal Service file, mailing information with demand the address below Rochester includes the names of my prosecutor's silence, called corrupt. One a basic word for you. I didn't hear anything. January 12th, January, February, March. That's insane. Insane for you to disclose the names of my prosecutor's silence. The next day, I went to the cover letter, resign. Here, Todd Baxter Central. I'm not trying to engage in any type of hyperbole. Need to resign. And then you can see the links here. So I take the cover letter, like I said, and I mail it to you, and then these are your emails. So Todd Baxter Sandra Doorley, if they look at this, they'll see that there's the cover letter with the link, and then there's the email that I only use once, so you can't block me. I'm demanding you disclose the names of my prosecutors. You, Todd Baxter, know that you can humiliate me when I use these two words, surveillance device. Because there are mentally ill individuals in the United States of America who think they're under surveillance by the government. I've seen this on television, and I would hear about it occasionally when I worked on Capitol Hill. It's really heartbreaking when an individual thinks they're under surveillance by a government agent or someone else, and nobody knows what they're talking about, and they're not. There are cameras called surveillance devices, Todd Baxter, and you know that you can humiliate me when I use this phrase. When I walked outside to tell Steve Desmond and Brock Coltrane in lawn care, nobody knows I'm next to my residence, walk back inside. That's not a crime. Shannon Meyer, this freak, runs into my backyard, falls down on her face. I hear this insane pounding on my door. I open the door, say, what's the problem? I walk on the front lawn, I'll go to handcuffs. That's not a crime, Todd Baxter. Your employees are such a joke. They don't even know what constitutes a crime. They take me downtown, lock me in a holding cell, urinated on myself. I'm sitting in my own urine where I can't reach the urinal. And that's when the Monroe County Sheriff Office employee approached me with this gruesome smile and his phone in his hand. He said, I want to show you something. And there I am outside, and that's how I know my right arm is moving. January 16, 2023. This photograph is wired fanatic. This photograph is wired extreme. This photograph is wired alive. This photograph is wired known the name of $67,000 disgusting act. This photograph is why people hate police. Christopher Chichester, 620 Park Avenue, PMB number 361, Rochester, New York. Training Ross, United States Attorney for West District, New York. Paul C. Metro, James Young Jr., Mark Phillips, Trujillo, Perry Douglas, Michael Rather. Elliot Roth, that works at this building, 2025 Penfield Road. Elliot. Is this private technology or the Monroe County Sheriff Office employees buying to fix it for me? Michael Rather, $0 employee Sheriff's Office. Is that not a surveillance device? She already told me it's not. You know how? I finished my run, which is on Willow Pond Way, connects to Sanders Farm Drive. I see the Monroe County Sheriff Office employee in my driveway with Lindsey Barron, the Monroe County Office of Mental Health, getting out of the vehicle. They arrived the same time I arrived home from my run. I turn around. I think I don't want any part of this. Lindsey Barron sees me, gets back to the Monroe County Sheriff Office vehicle. I ran back down Willow Pond Way to Wegmans. Here I am running down Willow Pond Way. Here comes the Monroe County Sheriff Office employee. I'm running. And here's Lindsey Barron starts to scream at me from the Monroe County Sheriff Office vehicle. I'm running. I want to talk to you, Chris. I'm running. I want to talk to you, Chris. This freak is chasing me down Willow Pond Way in Penfield, New York. Lindsey Barron in a Monroe County Sheriff Office vehicle. This Monroe County Sheriff Office employee is not pursuing real crime. I finally stopped, and she got out. So we're not talking about anything. They bought a chemical surveillance device on that building. Either you're using private technology for this business at 2025 Penfield Road called Consumer Insights, where Ellie Roth is the president, or you bought it and fixed it for me. What's the answer, you hacks and sociopaths and degenerates at the sheriff's office? Ellie Roth, you know the answer. I believe in employees in the United States Department of Justice said, is it private technology or would you buy it and fix it for the citizen who once lived in Penfield, New York? You refuse. That's a surveillance device. I've seen my images on it. Regina Harper emailed me multiple images after this day where you're chasing me down the road in Penfield. This is why you're degenerates. Is it private technology? Did you buy it and fix it for me? You bald-headed, skin-headed, Bino Mussolini clone. Todd Baxter, January 18th, complying with attached PDF dated January 18, 2023 to 70 Freedom of Information Law documents. This attached PDF for arriving in your office for your registered mail return receipt. United States Postal Service tomorrow, mail the information I demand to the address below Rochester, New York. This includes names of our prosecutor's sons. It's called unethical. It's unethical to refuse to disclose names of our prosecutor's sons. Is that right, public defender Julie Sianka? This is January 18th. After I go to email, I write the cover letter. Here, it's the same language, and I have rejection, accountability, resign on there. Move ahead now to the perjurer, who's Michael C. Houlihan. Michelle Crowley, director of the grand jury. What am I talking about? I leave my residence 2 years ago at Penfield, 26 Sanders Farm Drive. $73,000 Michael Houlihan and $85,000 Don Benedetto walked onto the private property of my 72-year-old neighbor and hid. When I leave my residence, it doesn't matter what Benedetto and Houlihan say because they're liars and fanatics. What are they doing at my residence at midnight, Todd Baxter? Because you sent Michael C. Houlihan and Don Benedetto. When I see these two psychopaths come running at me, I never stop running. And you don't know a goddamn thing, Michelle Crowley, you pound that grand jury. There's no interview with you to me. Either you're calling me on the phone or asking me to come down to the district attorney's office. There's not one effort from you to communicate with me about this night because you want to indict me. You want these 18 to 24 anonymous idiots to indict me, you nauseating, sickening hack, Michelle Crowley. You should be disbarred for what you did to me. You're convening the grand jury. I don't know the grand jury's convened, which means I don't testify before the grand jury. And is there a transcript of this grand jury that indicts me and turns me into your personal ham sandwich? Houlihan and Benedetto come running at me, turn around and run away. Get to the back porch, I grab a hammer that's next to my bike. Michael C. Houlihan grabs my arm, the hammer goes up, I pull away, I run through a sliding glass door. On the body camera footage of Michael C. Houlihan or Don Benedetto, I say, fuck you. I never stop running. I'm charged with attempted felony assault because of fiction in the fantasy land of this corrupt cop's head, Michael C. Houlihan. Michael C. Houlihan went back to the Monroe County Sheriff's Office and lied and said I swung a hammer at him when the body camera footage shows what happened. I ran the whole time. You convene that grand jury when Michael C. Houlihan is asked by you or another assistant district attorney about that night, and Michael C. Houlihan says that I swung a hammer at him. That's when he purges himself. And then Alex Renzi subsequently tells me when I'm released from Monroe County Jail, because I was in jail for this fiction, in Livingston County, pardon me, There's no such concoction as attempted felony assault. Either it's assault or it's not assault. I don't know if that's true. Why didn't you call me to the grand jury, Michelle Crowley? So, this is January 24th. Perjurer, 73,312, Michael C. Houlihan, Monroe County Sheriff's Office. Perjurer, violence. Sheriff Todd K. Baxter and Richard J. Seaman because he violently attacked and penalty for public library because one person, policy, master wants to send me to Livingston County Jail. Rejection because you're rejecting my freedom of information law documents, demanding my prosecutor's silence, accountability because there's no accountability for you, Todd Baxter, Sandra, Renzi. You do whatever you want. This is January 22nd. This is all your emails. That's the cover letter I have. And this is a large document that arrived in your office with all the foils here. Yes, there's foils there. Perjurer, 73,000, Michael Lynn, violence, Richard J. Seaman. You have it here. So I have here, I'm looking at these names. I'm looking for these sheriff names on here. And it's Kathleen Miller and Michael Radler and Scott Alberti and William Tadeo. What I'm telling you, Michael C. Houlihan's a perjurer, when it says right here, did you spoil it off? Or did you see it? Did you say anything to Todd Baxter about his employee being a perjurer? Kathleen Miller, William Tadeo, Scott Alberti, Michael Radler. So this is the perfect two-word description for you on January 24th. Here, you're freaks. January 24th, Todd Baxter, Sandra, Doorley, you're freaks. Comply with the attached PDF dated January 24th, 2023. The 70 Freedom of Information Law documents. The attached PDF will arrive in your office of your registered mail return receipt. The United States Postal Service tomorrow. Mailing information I demand. Address below in Rochester. This includes the names of our prosecutors. It's January 24th. Fanaticism, perjury, violence. About Houlihan and Seaman again. I'll copy the same link. This is January 26th. A different email. The email is always different. Apply with the attached PDF dated January 26th to the 73 Freedom of Information Law documents. This attached PDF will arrive at your office of the United Postal Service. Mail the information I demand to the address below in Rochester, New York. This includes the identification of my prosecutor. Silence. It's called silence because I'm not going to hear anything. Silence. The silence of the district attorney's office delivering me to jail, and the violence of the sheriff's office accompanies it. When I'm attacked, the pharmacy entrance, the weapons too. And this is January 26th, where this is in your office multiple times, over and over and over. These links here. Todd Baxter can look at these. It's just one word for each: fanaticism, perjury, violence, rejection, accountability. You have it here. Todd Baxter, Sandra Doorley, me on YouTube. I don't hear anything. I'm going to send transcripts for all this soon. This is January 29th. I think this is when I read the payrolls for you psychopaths incorporated. Yes, it is. Public salaries disclosed. January 29th, I emailed this is Chichester Christopher 1 at Proton Mail. I read all your salaries there because I'm trying to destroy the morale. The sheriff's office, district attorney's office, right there. And when I say I'm trying to destroy the morale, you think he should be arrested for using that language directly, that language to report us. If you watch me on here, your constant door, district attorney's sheriff's office, he should be arrested, he should be jailed. It's just like that. YouTube information, February 5th. Comply with the attached Freedom of Information Law documents. Mail manager and prosecutor signed by Corey Burns. The address below in Rochester, New York. I don't hear anything. February 5th. You are the most ridiculous cop cliche there is, Todd Baxter. So are your employees. You're the blue wall silence. This has been around since at least Frank Serpico in the NYPD 50 years ago. That's why this is the blue wall silence on February 6th. Right here, blue wall silence, blue wall silence. Information, Attorney Sandra, attach a foil there. So I'm telling you the names of my prosecutor silence. I should have. Print the PDF attachments. Read the PDF attachments. February 10th, defective. One word, you're defective because I'm being violently attacked by sheriff office employees. You're not talking to court. I'm being delivered to jail and putting you in front of one corrupt judge. Misconduct, Chief of Grand Jury Bureau. Michelle Crowley, when I pursue you to disbarment, watch me talking to you on this YouTube. Just go to YouTube and type misconduct, on Chief of Grand Jury Bureau, Michelle Crowley. Do what I'm telling you to do. It's in your best interest, Michelle Crowley. So Todd Baxter, $16,000 pay raise. Freak, how you allow this freak to be a Monroe County Sheriff Office employee, a warrant for my arrest for a parking lot I've walked through 4,000 times. That means this freak, $83,000 Shannon Meyer, thinks that I'm New York's 4,000 time criminal. And how ludicrous, ridiculous, and insane is that? And that's because Shannon Meyer is ludicrous, ridiculous, and insane. And you, Todd Baxter, love to surround yourself with corrupt cops like her. Sickness, February 18th. Sickness, read the attached PDF documents, disclose the names on prosecutor silence, mail names on prosecutor silence, the address below, resign. Vice, District Attorney Sandra and Todd Baxter, Vice, answers. I didn't have a new foil there, but I'm talking to you again, telling you that you're corrupt. One judge. state legislature in Albany, the Assembly and the Senate, need to change this law. Governor Kathy Hochul, I don't know the extent of her knowledge about local laws, but she should know that one judge can deliver a citizen to jail in the state of New York, especially given her career. She was a member of Congress. So, one judge, the corruption of Sheriff Todd, Baxter, District Attorney Sandra, Doorley. This is me, Christopher Dodd, Child Sister 17, a Proton Mail. So here, one judge. Is your friend or family member, any friend or any family member for the Sheriff's Office, District Attorney's Office, one judge at one point had total control over the life of your friend or family member? I guarantee you're going to reach the conclusion I reach with this nauseating, disgusting act, Paul C. Metzler, John P. Lanza Jr., Penn Court, and Alex Renzi, that's insane for one judge to have total and complete control over a life when a prosecutor doesn't talk in court. And that's what this $28,000 bald-headed sick widow did to me. Because you allowed her to do it to me. Who's the prosecutor signed for my appearance before Paul C. Metzler? Perry Duckles. Who is it? Michelle Crowley. Who is it? So, February 22nd. Again, when I take the cover letter, I'm on here, I send it to you via email. Insane, one judge, 4 Monroe County Public Defenders, Mark Phillips, Regina Harper. What do you think I'm demanding of you when I spoke to that thing? Insane here. This is February 22nd. You receive from Federal Express detached PDF that is freedom of information law, disclosed and of prosecutor's silence, resign. Insane, one judge. Again, for Mark Phillips, Regina Harper. Insane for you, Mark Phillips, Regina Harper, not to tell me the names of my prosecutor's silence. Identification. I want the basic word identification. On February 22nd, 2023, you received from Federal Express detached PDF documentation, mail names of my prosecutor's silence, the address below 620 Park Avenue in Rochester, New York. I told you what you should do, which should be obvious, which is resign. Again, I contacted you on January 1, on that January 1 Perry Duckles. And then here it is on February 25th for $113,918.94. First Assistant Dirty Perry Duckles, identify my prosecutor's silence, mail the names of my prosecutor's silence, my court appearance, the address below 620 Park Avenue, comply with attached freedom of information on PDF. 94 cents? Why do you need 94 cents? That is odd. That is bizarre. When I contact the Control State of New York, Thomas B. DiNapoli, and demand that you be audited, I'll be talking about how you got your salaries, these bizarre salaries, $918. Why is it $918 and 94 cents? I have been a public employee, a House staffer, a Senate staffer in Washington, D.C., an Assembly staffer, a Senate staffer, a gubernatorial staffer in Albany. I have looked at the payroll over and over because part of my job in the press office is to send the payroll to the media. Nobody's paid in cents. Because you have no sense. Okay, District Attorney's Office. It's a perfect word, or a perfect word, I should say, to describe you, freaks. Sheriff Todd, Baxter, District Attorney Sandra, Doorley, Judge Alex Renzi, February 26th, mail the names on prosecutor signed by court agreements is below, 620 Park Avenue, Rochester, New York. We detached freedom of information law document of 79 United States Attorney for the Western District, Trinity Ross resigned. This Ross got this on February 26th. I don't know if she could blow it off. She could think who is a citizen. I don't care. That could possibly happen. So that's everything there. I'm going to send these. I'm going to make copies of these. I'm going to send it to every employee at the District Attorney's Office. It could cost me a same amount of money, but that's okay. Everything here, I'm going to send this to you at the District Attorney's Office. I'm going to track it, make sure it arrives. I'm going to send this to you at the Sheriff's Office. You, Michael Riley, you, Kathleen Miller, you, Scott Alberti, you, William Tadeo. Everything here in this pile you'll receive. So, Paul C. Metzler, you sick hack. I didn't open that. I don't know what's in there. This is you telling me you want to arrest me. You as one person want to get me in jail, but I didn't open that. I don't know if I ever will. So your employees like Michael Fowler was paid more money than you, Todd Baxter, at $163,000. Corey Brown was paid more money than you, $155,000. Constantly places where they shouldn't be in Saratoga. How do you like my XL here on my shirt here? Because I don't have any clothes because of you, Todd Baxter, Sandra Doorley. So I had to buy this XL sweater at Goodwill. Because you, Todd Baxter, Sandra Doorley, and here's Ryan Fisher, right, Atlanta, Georgia. And I'm going to tell you how to be corrupt. I use the same language I used previously. You're going to be corrupt at the Sheriff's Office, sending your employees out of New York State to Atlanta, Georgia, like Ryan Fisher. Don't tell anybody about it. As we get ready to watch Super Bowl, we're grateful for the men and women signed to keep fans and players safe in Atlanta, including MCCL's Deputy Ryan Fisher, Cannon, and Deputy Fisher sent this photo from Atlanta, exclamation mark. Thank you both for your service. Keep fans and players safe. It's ridiculous, ludicrous. He's not keeping anybody safe. He's having a good time with his dog. speaking of my dog, I can talk about this again. I'll contact the Lollipop Farm Humane Society. I hope in the next 2 weeks I'm going to facts and circumstances, how you came to my residence to man my dog. And then when I'm in jail in the process of talking court, Steve Schicker, the Penfield Animal Control Officer, had to go into my residence, 26 Indian Farm Drive, and get my little guy, bring him back to Lollipop. And when I got out of Livingston County Jail in Geneseo, I ran down Penfield Road. This is the first time I was there. I got in. Second time I didn't get in. And I'm thinking the next day I have to go get my little guy. I went back to Lollipop. I was in such fear when I was going over to Lollipop Farm Main Side. I would not get him back because they knew I was in jail. And I was sitting there and I'm thinking, where is he? I was there for like 15 minutes. I was thinking, and I could get my little guy back. I really was about to have a nervous breakdown because I wanted to get my little guy. I'd been with me for 8 years. I knew it was going to be the end of his life. And I just wanted to be back with my little guy because I live alone. And dogs bring joy to life. That's why. I just wanted to see him again. And I'm there for the 15 minutes. I'm sitting there. I'm thinking, where is he? Why aren't they bringing him out? They finally brought him out. The fact that I had to go back to Lollipop Farm Humane Society and get my guy when I'm in jail in Livingston County in Geneseo, when I'm violently attacked first by Richard J. Seaton, a prosecutor's not president, Penfield Town Court, and then I have to take an Uber over there to get him is insane. Just like it's insane for you to buy this surveillance device and refuse to tell me if it's private technology you're using to nail me to the wall and concoct the crime from me, or if that's a camera that's used by Consumer Insights to security of the building. Either way, it's an abomination. If you bought it and fixed it for me, that's an abomination. If this is private technology you're using on me, that's an abomination. So you got this. This is names. Ship date Monday, April 3rd. Ship date March 30th. I'm using UPS on April 3rd, March 30th. I'm telling you, psychopaths, district attorney's office and the public defender's office to tell me the names of my prosecutors. So, all pages arrive. FedEx. I'm holding up here. So I have registered mail return receipt over and over telling you to disclose the names of my prosecutors. And then FedEx is going to arrive in the next 48 hours here. April 6th, as we see Utah Baxter, Sandra, Doorley. When this arrives, and you see me, I'm telling you to disclose the names of my prosecutors, where you can reach me. Christopher.chichester@mail.com, 620 Park Avenue, PMB number 361, Rochester, New York, 14604. You will refuse to disclose the names of my prosecutors. So, this area here in Park Avenue is completely different than the East Main Street area. It's a lot safer. I'm not constantly looking around and thinking, where are the freaks? And I've done this before, living in the heart of Washington, D.C. and Albany. But the freaks in Rochester, New York are at such a level, they are everywhere. There is a freak, I believe, within 50 to 100 yards of you when you're in that East Main Street area. All the time. If you walk from the Liberty Pole down East Main Street to, for example, the Phil Sweetley Library, and you walk all down East Main Street, you will pass freak after freak after freak. Because I have. And when I'm outside at night, like when I would go to the library in Brighton, I'd go over there, concerned when it was 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night, dark out. And this is your city of Rochester employees on foot because they're isolated in their vehicles. And I've said this to Mayor Malik Evans' office too. The beat cop should be out in Rochester, New York. And I don't care that that's not a traditional role for the sheriffs for standard police procedure in New York. Judge Alex Renzi, that doesn't have some type of protection like this, vulnerable to the criminal element in Rochester, New York. I'm trying to be a part of justice being done because I'm an innocent man. Disclose the names of my prosecutors. Silence. District Attorney Sandra Doorley. My name is Christopher Chichester. I live in Rochester, New York.